On China, Senator,
Yes.
there's a briefing later today.
Yes.
What else are you hoping to learn? Where do you think it goes from here?
Well, we're getting, I think, what's called the Overmatch brief today, which is something that's made available every year, and it basically tells us how badly out of position we are in Asia, to be frank with you, in order to deter Chinese aggression there. We should be very frank with the American people. If China attempted to invade Taiwan today, they would succeed. We are not in a position to deter them in Asia. And that's a problem, considering they are our #1 foreign adversary. And if they are able to continue their campaign of aggression, they will take over our supply chains. They will put themselves in a position to put a vice grip on our economy and continue to take our jobs. That's a huge, huge problem.
Do you worry about retaliatory measures after shooting down the balloon and the other
No, we ought to be much more forceful than we have been with the Chinese government. We ought to be saying to them that this is espionage on our soil, this is a deliberate act by them. Listen, they made the choice to fly this balloon over the continental United States. It was a deliberate choice on their part. There ought to be major consequences for that.
You said there are many more What retaliatory action should the U.S. take against China?
Well, listen, I mean, I think we ought to think about sanctions against their government, against their economy. I think we ought to talk about do we need to kick diplomats out of the country. I mean, we ought to be very forceful with them that this is not acceptable and that we are not going to put up with any more of their aggression in Asia. We're not going to put up with any more of their espionage against us. They've been doing this. They've been flying these balloons for a while now, as the administration's now admitted. We need to get serious about this and say that we're not going to put up with that. But I think we ought to be rallying all of our allies and partners around the world to put serious sanctions on them. And we ought to be using this as an opportunity to reshore jobs and supply chains to the United States. Let's bring back some jobs to America, some good paying manufacturing jobs. This can be an opportunity for that. We should be doing that anyway, but this should make it really urgent to us that we have got to do this. Our supply chains are way too vulnerable.
But one thing I would say to the American people, while we have some of these challenges, and these are challenges that are being addressed, we're still well out in front of our adversaries. We just may not be, moving forward as fast as they are, but we're still well out in front of them and have, plenty of capacity and opportunity. In fact, I would submit to you that what's happened over the course of the last couple of weeks with regard to spy balloons and other activity, Ukraine war included, is that the American people at least are, I think, getting a personal persuasion, shall we say, that national security still matters. That the Cold War, while the traditional Cold War of the 80s and 90s is over, we're really in one with a much more, I think, problematic adversary in China. All right?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.